Good evening. I never write anything for these things because the material is always right here. It was really fascinating to listen to the very careful and prolonged discussion around the inclusion of words in the mission statement, or whatever you want to call it, inclusion, equity, all these wonderful words. But as was said before, not only are they meaningless if they're not put into practice, but clearly from what Matthew just said, they are not reaching roughly 16% of your population. And when I look at the aforementioned handbook for new board members in New York State, one of the things it says on here is you have to check whether you really are aware of all community members and whether your data and analysis truly reflect the total community. As was mentioned before, there's nothing in the laws that govern how you operate that precludes you from having a discussion with this particular part of your community. We're open to having it publicly. And how else would we resolve systemic issues if this body continues to hide behind not being able to talk about specific children or privacy laws, et cetera? You are a policy-making body. How shall we address systemic issues if you're not willing to change policy? How shall we arrive at the right policy if we're never to have a conversation around what that right policy is? The other thing highlighted in this handbook is that the district obviously devotes a certain amount of budget to your education, conferences, any sort of knowledge out there that may be helpful for you. And I'm very curious if any of you have taken the time to really immerse yourself in the realm of special education, as opposed to defaulting to your legal counsel, to your head of special education, but educating yourself the way you have perhaps about climate change and running a green building or whatever it is you're focusing on. Immerse yourself in this topic and try to live in the realm that we live in every day with our children. I think it would be very educational, enlightening, and it affects 16% of your student population. Finally, on this topic of being aware of all community members and whether your data and analysis truly reflects the total community, I'm really shocked this went unnoticed, but at the last Board of Education, I quoted to you data from the from the Department of Education OCR that stated that in this district, over a number of years, the number of students subjected to restraints or any kind of corporal intervention or punishment, 71% of those students were students with disabilities. That is not equity. And I don't know whether any of you are even curious about it, because it happened on your watch. It happened on the shift's watch. It happened on many of your watch. And I'm wondering if you're even aware of it, even curious about it, asking questions about it, because that is trauma that lives with these children every day. And they can't stand up here and tell you how they feel, because if they could, for that particular intervention or any of the other measures that have unfortunately been taken against a number of children here, you would not be spinning your wheels. Things would be happening a lot faster. Don't take advantage of the fact that they can't talk to you directly, that they can't post their experiences on social media. If these were neurotypical general education kids, this would be a huge, huge deal. Thank you.